Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm glad you're here today. We're about to explore a fascinating topic, a visual social transformation. This presentation will focus on how industrialization has impacted our lives. We'll look at the key changes and developments that have shaped society over time. So, let's dive in and discover how this powerful era has transformed the way we live, work, and interact. Let's take a closer look at the key insight here. The transition during this period was not just about economic change, it was a complete social overhaul. What does that mean exactly? Well, it wasn't only about shifting from traditional hand tools to new machine-based production methods. It was a profound transformation that affected every aspect of everyday life in Britain. The move to industrialization touched everything, from how people worked and what they did in their leisure time, to how communities were structured and how social roles evolved. This wasn't just an economic shift, it was a wholesale reorganization of society itself. Understanding this helps us see the full impact of this era's changes, beyond just the factories and machines. So, one of the biggest drivers of change during this period was the rise in factory wages. As wages increased, they became a powerful pull factor, attracting waves of job seekers. Many people from rural farms saw better opportunities in the cities and decided to move. This movement wasn't just small, it was really significant. Cities with populations over 100,000 doubled in size between 1800 and 1850. This rapid growth is what we call the Great Urban Migration, and it fundamentally reshaped the landscape of our society. It's a clear example of how economic opportunities can dramatically influence population patterns and urban development. Now, with the new capital flowing in, people could afford better clothes and heated homes, which really improved daily life. It wasn't just about comfort. These improvements also signaled economic growth and increased prosperity. At the same time, productivity took a huge leap forward. Machines started replacing manual labor, allowing for faster production and more efficient work. This shift led to what we call the machine age wealth, where the economy expanded rapidly because of technological advancements. These changes are central to understanding how technological progress transformed society, making life better for many, and creating new opportunities for wealth and innovation. Let's talk about how speed and urban growth often outpaced planning. During this period, unpaved streets and garbage heaps were quite common sights in many growing cities. This rapid expansion meant that city infrastructure couldn't keep up with the influx of people and development. As a result, sanitary codes and housing standards were often ignored or simply could not be enforced. What this really highlights is that many cities grew without proper planning, what we might call cities without plans. This lack of foresight led to significant challenges in maintaining cleanliness and providing adequate housing. It's a clear example of how growth driven by economic opportunity can sometimes outpace our ability to manage it responsibly. Understanding this context is crucial because it shows how urbanization, when unplanned, can create serious health and social issues, ultimately shaping the need for more organized city planning in the future. So let's take a closer look at what life was like in the cities back in 1842. The average lifespan for the working class was only about 17 years, which is shockingly low. This was largely due to the frequent outbreaks of epidemics like cholera that would sweep through the slums, often causing widespread suffering and death. Families lived in very crowded conditions, often squeezed into dark, dirty one-bedroom shelters. These cramped living spaces made it incredibly difficult to maintain hygiene or privacy. And because there were no strict sanitary codes at the time, the streets were often unpaved and filled with garbage heaps, creating a breeding ground for disease. What this all highlights is the human cost of progress. While industrialization and urban growth brought economic opportunities, they also brought significant hardships for the working class. It's important to remember that behind the advancements, there were real lives affected by these harsh conditions. This context helps us understand the challenges faced during this period and underscores the importance of public health and sanitation reforms. Now, let's talk about a major shift that occurred during this period: power moved from land to capital. As industries grew and economies expanded, wealth was increasingly generated through factories and trade rather than just land ownership. This economic transformation led to the rise of a new social class, professionals and business people, who began to challenge the traditional aristocracy. These new wealth creators didn't inherit their fortunes. They built them through enterprise and innovation. This shift is best exemplified by the emergence of the middle class. They became an influential force, contributing to the changing social landscape. Their rise reflects how economic power was beginning to reshape societal hierarchies, paving the way for a more dynamic and interconnected society. Overall, this transition from land-based wealth to capital-based wealth is a key theme in understanding the broader social and economic changes of this era. It shows how new economic opportunities can redefine social structures and influence the course of history. Success, as we've seen, was often built on the backs of the vulnerable, and one of the most heartbreaking examples of this is how children were employed during this period. They worked in unsafe conditions, whether in factories or brickyards, just to keep the machines of progress running smoothly. These young workers faced long hours, dangerous machinery, and harsh environments, all at the expense of their safety and well-being. This slide highlights the heavy burden placed on the young during this time. It's a stark reminder of how economic growth often came at a tremendous human cost. It's important to recognize that behind the progress we celebrate today, there were many children who suffered hardships that we can hardly imagine. These realities help us understand the importance of labor reforms and the ongoing fight for workers' rights, especially vulnerable groups like children. As we continue, I want us to keep in mind that progress should never come at the expense of the most vulnerable among us. When we first encountered these new technologies, it often felt like a threat. It's important to understand that one machine could do the work of 20 people, which was quite a shock at the time. This rapid increase in productivity meant that machines started to replace human skills in many areas. This shift raised real concerns about job security and the future of skilled workers. It wasn't just about automation replacing manual tasks. It was about transforming entire roles and skill sets. So the key point here is that while technology can drive progress, it also challenges the traditional roles of skilled workers. It's a reminder that technological change can be both an opportunity and a challenge, and understanding this dynamic is essential as we look at how industries adapt over time. Machines threatened livelihoods, people fought back. This slide really highlights a crucial moment in history where technological advancements started to impact jobs and communities. As machines became more capable, there was a natural fear that many people's work would become obsolete. But what's inspiring is how people didn't just accept this change, they fought back. This wasn't just about resisting automation. It was about advocating for their rights, seeking fair treatment, and trying to find a balance between progress and human well-being. The phrase, "raging against the machine," captures that spirit perfectly. It's about challenging the systems that threaten to dehumanize work and life. This ties back to our overall theme of how technological progress can be both a force for good and a source of conflict. It reminds us that innovation isn't just about machines and algorithms. It's also about the people behind the scenes who shape, challenge, and influence this ongoing evolution. Let's talk about the impact of labor unions first. They played a crucial role in securing higher pay and shorter working hours for workers, which significantly improved quality of life. This was a major step toward fair treatment and better working conditions. At the same time, technological progress fueled invention and innovation, which in turn contributed to increasing national wealth. These advancements not only made industries more efficient, but also created new opportunities for growth. As industrialization took hold, it gradually raised living standards across society. It also led to expanded access to education, giving more people the chance to improve themselves and their futures. All of these developments, better wages, shorter hours, technological innovation, higher living standards, and expanded education, leave us with a powerful legacy of opportunity. They laid the foundation for a more prosperous and equitable society, truly shaping the opportunities we have today. Our modern quality of life is the direct result of the industrial transformation. This shift fundamentally changed how we live, work, and interact with the world around us. By introducing new technologies, manufacturing processes, and innovations, the Industrial Revolution laid the groundwork for many of the conveniences we enjoy today. It's important to recognize that these advancements didn't happen in isolation. They shaped the modern world we know now. From transportation to communication, the industrial transformation has created a foundation that continues to evolve and influence our daily lives. Understanding this connection helps us appreciate the progress we've made and the ongoing impact of industrialization on our society.